I'm out here driving around again. Just dropped my son off at work. I do another weigh-in tomorrow because that marks the next week. So I'm at 35 weeks right now. So tomorrow I'll make 36 weeks. And then, so yeah, 36 weeks is next week. And then the week after that is 37 weeks. And so once the week after next is done, the baby can come at any time. Because as long as you're 37 weeks or more, your baby can come. Because usually you want to go 40 weeks, that's full term. But after 37 weeks, everything's developed, the heart, lungs, and all that good stuff. And the baby's body can function on its own. So I saw on an ultrasound, my baby's already practicing breathing. So I'm like, okay. And her heart is good. Everything's looking good. All my appointments have been very good. Very, very, very good. But this last appointment that I just had, they put me on like a monitor for about 20 to 40 minutes. And, excuse me, guys. And now it's getting to the point where, because at first they used to let the father come back there and see the ultrasounds and stuff. He can't even come back there with me anymore. So me and him both feel like they're trying to get me. And what I mean by that is, so I'm pregnant. The place that I go to, I don't want to deliver the baby there, but because I'm using pregnancy Medicaid, I can only get my appointments there. I can't get them at the hospital that I want to deliver the baby. So what I usually do is do my prenatal appointments at the place that I'm going, and then when it's time for me to have the baby, I just show up at the hospital that I want to deliver at. So usually I don't make it to my last visits. So this is baby number 6. My mood and everything is different with each baby. So I think there was like 2 different babies where Cadence M K5G. I think it was 2 of my pregnancies. I didn't go to the doctors at all. Like, I probably went to maybe 2 or 3 doctor's visits, maybe an ultrasound. And other than that, I didn't go to the doctor. I just showed up at the hospital. It was time to have a baby. With my last baby, at the end of the pregnancy, they kept bothering me about the sugar test. I never take that sugar test. That sugar test sucks. So what they have you do is they have this thick cup of sugar, like it's like liquid sugar, and sometimes it's orange, it might be red, or they ask people what flavor they want. I did it with my first baby because I ain't know no better. A lot of times people have a baby and they don't know what's going on. I did it with the first baby. With all the rest of the babies, I wasn't doing that because you drink this thick cup of sugar and sugar is going straight to your baby. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I refuse the sugar test. A lot of people don't know they can test I guess they're trying to test whether you have diabetes or something, or gestational diabetes, but they can test that without that sugar test. And I just think it's interesting how they always try to get me to drink that cup of sugar. And a lot of people don't know that they can refuse the sugar test. And you can refuse a lot of things. A lot of people don't know when you go to the doctor, you can refuse that stuff. But there are times when I guess the medical people think they know what's best for you better than you know for yourself. And they can, I'm trying to find the right words for it. I call it kidnapping. They can keep you in the hospital and probably y'all heard of that happening to people before. And it was a big thing during COVID too. But when I went to my last visit, because I've been canceling all of my doctor's appointments because they just tried to get me to take the sugar test, and that's usually what I do. When they start pushing on me or pressuring me about the sugar test, I stop showing up for appointments. And so now they're like, hey, you were supposed to have a doctor's appointment in the beginning of March and you haven't seen a doctor. And I'm looking at them like, I'm not going to see the doctor because she's bothering me about the sugar test. And I know I don't have to take that shit. So I've already stopped going to my actual OB appointments. And I've just been going for diagnostics. Diagnostics is when they look at the baby on the ultrasound machine to see, hi, Gladson Storm and Riker Sheets. That's when they look on the screen and they want to check like the growth of the baby, the amniotic fluid in there. I don't know how they be knowing what they looking at, because I be looking at that screen and I'm just like, how do you know what is what? Now when I see the baby face, I know like it's a face. Hey, that's an interesting name. Jones 1231. Yeah, so when you look at the screen, I know when I'm looking at like a foot or a hand or a face or whatever, but some of that stuff they be looking at and I'm just like, how do you know? But I guess like these people have been like technicians for years, so they know what they be looking at. But I go to my diagnostics. I just went to one on Friday. That's when they hooked me up to all those machines, and me and my child's father started freaking out because I was back there for a really long time and he thought they had so I call it kidnapping, but he thought they had admitted me to the hospital. When I was back there on the monitor, she was back there talking about so there was like, I want to say 3 of us back there in the same room hooked up to these monitors. It's the first time this ever happened to me with any pregnancy. This is my 6th pregnancy. And just to give y'all a backstory, so they've been effing with me on this pregnancy because I'm 40 years old. Once you get to a certain age, they don't want you to have babies anymore. They think you're too old or whatever. They call it geriatrics. I'm classified as I'm still young. So I just think the whole thing is just stupid. So yeah, so I'm on my 6th baby. They gave me a little bit of trouble 2 years ago with my 5th baby. They gave me a little bit of trouble, but not as much as they've been giving me with this baby. I literally have had 2 doctor appointments every month the entire time since I've been pregnant. Nobody needs that many appointments. Nothing's wrong with the baby. Every time I go, everything's fine. At first, they were trying to say things. But what I did was I went to another hospital and got a second opinion. So after I did that, I was just like, okay, these people are effing with me. Like, I'm not about to have it. So I found out that my baby is fine, and I still have to go to, I don't have to, but they're still scheduling me for all these appointments. So now it's, I'm showing up for the actual doctor's appointments. They're pressing me about it. So now I think I might not show up for the diagnostics anymore. And I like showing up for the diagnostics because, I mean, who doesn't like getting an ultrasound? And so I like going for the diagnostics. But after this last one, I think it was yesterday, and they hooked me up to all those monitors, and then they were calling triage and having somebody triage. At first, I didn't know which one of us they were having triage. So there was 3 of us back there, and I was freaking out for a second because I kept asking her to get me off the machine, and she wouldn't get me off. She was like, "You can go in a little bit. I'm just not taking you off yet."